Step number 4 for the knob is going to be to take these lines that we have and bring them to the bandsaw and cut in a precise manner so we can take this piece off and free the tenon. So to do that, you're going to bring your piece over to the bandsaw. Now we're going to adjust for the tallest height so that the fence is going to be high enough. So I can loosen this knob, I can move this up and down, and I want the fence to be about 1/4 inch above the tallest part of my block. Now we don't want to get super close with our hands, so we're going to take one of these squares, clamps, and we are going to clamp this down here, and this is going to be our push stick. So now I've got this series of lines. I'm going to cut until I get to this line, and I'm going to stop. And then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, cut, and I'm going to do that 4 times until I have freed my tenon. So it should look like this. Now at this point, you can see I've cut all the way around the perimeter, stopping at my line so I don't accidentally cut off my tenon. And at this point, you should be able to take your clamp here and break this off. And sometimes I've got to go put that in a vise, and that's what we're going to do now. If you can't free your piece by hand, the next trick is to put it in a vise and take your clamp, put that clamp on there, and you should be able to, at this point, break that free. And now I've got this tenon that I can put into the lathe and spin this. And I've just got one more step, step number 5, which is going to be to cut off my corners and turn this into an octagon. So we're going to go back to the bandsaw to nip off the corners. The last step in preparing our blank for the lathe is to get this a little bit closer to round. And to do that, we want to get to this point here where we've turned our square into an octagon. And we're just going to nip off the corners of this blank. So I'm just going to draw myself some little lines here, 45-degree lines. And these can just be approximate, because we're going to get this nice and smooth and round on the lathe. But we want to have just some lines to work with. And now I've got to raise my guard up just a little bit more because I'm going to be running this through the bandsaw this way. We're going to grab our push stick to be our clamp to be our push stick one more time, and now we're just going to nip off the fork. You can see I did not account for the tenon, so I've got to raise this guard up just a little bit more. We'll do that now with the machine off, never with the machine running. Put that back up, put my clamp back on, and we'll finish this off. This is now ready to go in the lathe, and when you're ready for the lathe, you can go over and ask Mr. B, me, to show you how to use the lathe.